So now let's move into our physical practice, where we're combining the breath work, the slow, steady, even inhales and exhales, along with our body movements. So let's start by bringing ourselves up to a standing position. So come up to standing into what we call mountain pose. We did practice mountain pose last time, and in mountain pose, we stand with our feet about hip width apart, okay? Knees are slightly bent. We straighten and lengthen our spines, relax our shoulders down, eyes facing forward as if we are a strong mountain facing the sun. Palms can be facing forward or toward the body, whichever is more comfortable for you. And this is our mountain pose. Mountain pose is a great pose that you can do anywhere at any time, and it can help you bring balance to how you're feeling, how you're thinking, and how you're breathing. So you stay where you are. I will move to the mat so that you can see the rest of the poses. And we will next move into forward fold. So, from standing in our mountain pose, as we were, on our inhale, we bring our arms out to the sides and overhead, fingertips touch at the top. And then on the exhale, begin to fold forward at the hips, keep at least a slight bend in your knee, and begin to reach toward your mat to the floor. Or if that's a little too difficult, feel free to hold on to your shins or even rest your hands on your knees, whatever is most comfortable for you. Again, keeping at least a slight bend in the knee. And then let your neck hang a little bit loosey-goosey here. And breathe in your forward fold, repeating your mantra that listening to myself helps me thrive. And then with your next inhale, keeping those knees bent, bring your fingertips forward, start to raise your arms up slowly and carefully, bringing your upper body forward and into chair pose. So in chair pose, we still have our knees bent, and we're keeping our hips a little bit lower as if we're sitting in a chair, but we're raising our arms upward. Or if that's not very comfortable, you can keep your arms here at the hips. So now you are in chair pose. Holding chair pose for another breath. Deep inhale. Then on your exhale, begin to straighten your legs a bit to bring yourself back into a forward fold. And then from your forward fold, we're going to move into plank pose. We did do plank pose last time. And in plank pose, you will carefully step one foot back first, okay? Get your grounding here, ground that foot back, okay? Release your hands to the floor, to your mat, and then step your other foot back into plank pose. And in plank pose, you are bringing your body in a straight line, but this might be a little too challenging. And if it is, feel free to put your knees down here in the mat, okay? And then from here, you try to make a straight line with your upper body. Feel free to move your hands a little bit until you feel like you're in that straight line. Move your belly button toward your spine so you're strengthening your stomach muscles. And this is your plank pose. Take a full deep round of breath with your mantra. And then as you exhale, begin to move your body back down to the mat. Okay, take a moment to adjust yourself. And just take a minute to rest here, bringing your hands on top of each other. And this is into alligator pose here. We're resting our foreheads and our hands for a minute. Take about 1 to 2 rounds of breath here. Repeat your mantra. And then with your next inhale, begin to lift your forehead up off of your hands. Slide your hands along to the side of your body around your rib cage. And you'll next move into either a cobra pose or an upward facing dog pose. So for cobra pose, you're keeping your elbows bent, tucked in toward your rib cage, and on your inhale, you will gently just lift your head forward, looking straight ahead. If you'd like a little bit more of a challenge and want to move to upward facing dog, okay, you can move your arms forward, okay, a little bit more, and lift your upper body off the mat a bit more. That's upward facing dog, but if that doesn't feel good for your lower back, just bring yourself back down to cobra pose. Stay here for a round of breath. And then bring yourself back into your alligator pose to rest and find some balance. Repeat your mantra here. And with your next inhale, start to bring yourself back up into tabletop pose. So in tabletop pose, we're using our hands grounded into the mat to press ourselves up onto all fours here. With table pose, we have our wrists directly underneath our shoulders. Okay, arms are shoulder width apart. Our knees are directly underneath our hips. Legs are hip width apart. Bring your belly button back toward your spine, so tighten up your stomach muscles. Push your body away from the mat and gaze slightly forward, imagining that you're developing a straight line from your neck to your tailbone, and simply breathe. Stay here for about 2 rounds of breath, making that big balloon in your belly and then deflating it. And next we'll move into cat-cow. And cat-cow actually starts in tabletop pose. So we're already there in tabletop pose. And the way cat-cow moves is that on your inhale, you're dropping your belly button to the mat, curling your tailbone up, and looking up in front of you. So you see I sort of look like a cow in this pose. Then on your exhale, reverse that. Draw that belly button in, curl your back up toward the ceiling like a scared cat, drop your tailbone and head to the mat. So move through cat-cow 3 times. Inhale, into your cow, exhale, into your cat. Now this time, try your inhale with your mantra, listening to myself. Exhale helps me thrive. One more time. Inhale and exhale. And then inhale, come back to tabletop, okay, to your neutral pose. And now I want you to come and sit on your mat, on the floor, okay. Take a moment, put your legs in front of you, okay, get your sits bones, okay, all settled. Those are the bones you sit on. And just take a moment to shake your legs out. Okay, now, from here we're moving into boat pose. Boat pose can be a bit challenging. I have problems with it sometimes because it requires a lot of strength here in the core and the belly area. So let's start off by bringing our feet a little bit closer to our bodies, bending our knees, okay, and holding on to our knees here to practice. So in boat pose, you want to have a straight back, okay. So strengthen that belly, bring your belly button towards your spine, relax your shoulders down, and practice bringing just one leg up and make it as straight as you can. So we will start with the right leg. So having our hands holding on to the left knee, take a nice deep inhale and lift that right leg up and make it as straight as you can. and hold it for just a moment, and then exhale, release it down. So that's half of boat pose. Now with our next round of breath, we'll practice the left leg. So clasp your hands around your right knee, take a deep inhale, and start to lift that left leg, straighten it as much as you can, and then exhale, bring it down. We'll move to the next level with boat pose. So we can try with having both feet down, knees bent. Okay, make sure you're in position. And with your next inhale, stay where you are, tighten that belly and release your hands. Fingers pointing forward, holding yourself a little bit tilted back the way I am. And continuing to breathe. Breathing is very important. And then with your next exhale, come back, hold on to those knees and rest for a moment. And if you really want to challenge yourself and want to move into full boat pose, I will show you very briefly how to do it. But I warn you, it could get very rocky in your boat when you try this. So take a nice deep inhale, straighten the back, tighten the belly, release the hands, and start to straighten the legs as much as you can, and hold. But come back as soon as you feel like you might tip over, because we don't want anyone's boat capsizing here in our yoga practice. So now we get to move into our final and I think most fun pose, which is happy baby pose. So just scoot yourself down on your mat a little bit more and lay down all the way, knees bent, feet flat on the mat. And now we get to pretend that we are little babies again. And to do that, let's bring our knees in toward our chest. Hold here for a nice round of breath. Inhale with your mantra, listening to myself helps me thrive. And now to move into happy baby pose, we're going to separate our legs a little bit toward our armpits. Okay, this is comfortable. You can stay here, or if you're able to, grab hold of your ankles or even the bottoms of your feet like a little baby does, and you can stay here steady or even rock side to side into happy baby. Side to side. You notice sometimes babies, when they're not yet ready to sit up, but they're starting to move around a lot on the floor on mats, they like to do this. So this is happy baby. And do another round of breath in your happy baby pose. And then we come to the center and steady ourselves, release our legs down to the mat, and then carefully bring ourselves back up to sitting. That could be moving yourself, rolling onto your side, pushing up, sitting crisscross applesauce again, taking a moment to find our breath again, and remembering that practicing balance with our body through a yoga practice and breath is one way to be kind to ourselves and to others, because balancing our bodies and our minds helps us balance our thoughts, words, and actions. Now let's bring our hands into prayer pose, hands together at heart center, bowing our foreheads toward our fingertips. We say Namaste. And the light in me sees the light in you. Thank you for joining me for this session. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.